The time has finally come. I've spent hundreds of hours grinding, cutting down trees, and doing more. But I've finally reached this goal. Actually, I'm halfway there, but there's a reason for that. The farming update came out, so I need some shards. That's why I made a total of 100,000 eyeballs in jars. It took me a long time to do it, breaking 100,000 eyeball jars. This is crazy. Of course, doing everything at once would have taken much longer, so I sold some of my belongings to buy materials. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had the time to spend it all, and wouldn't have been able to finish it on time. No. Wait. I started grinding by building a moral farm. Guess what I was doing wrong? I was using an old farm design, and I only realized this days later. I really put a lot of effort into building this farm. I'm talking hours. Anyway, it's too late now. If you're going to build a moral farm, definitely don't use this farm design. There's a moral X Brit farm. Get or build that instead. It will save you much more time. After buying the moral farms, I started harvesting them once a day. Of course, this grind took a long time, a total of 2 months. It might take less time for you. It varies depending on each person's time. After farming the moral farms, I also bought a glowing vine farms and started farming those as well. This put a bit of a burden on me. So after farming glowing vines for a few days, I decided to stop farming them all.
Stop it. Get some help.
My plan was this: grind the expensive parts and get the other necessary materials from others as needed, because I've already got 200,000 frog legs. That's when it occurred to me that if I make empty bottles, things will be much easier later on. I'll start by farming spruce logs, so I immediately rented spruce log farms and set off to farm a total of 200,000 spruce logs. So I decided to change my axe and got a flaming axe. I thought it would break trees faster. But no. So if you think you'll break things faster by buying a flaming axe, you're mistaken. The realms tokens you gave are not worth it. I've really spent a lot of time on this grind. I rented a total of 6 farms because I could farm them every hour. This meant that every time I finished farming the 6th farm, the spruce logs from the first farm would reappear. This saved me more time. And in about a week I collected over 200,000 spruce logs. After I finished working with the spruce logs, I converted them all to cork. After completing this step, we've reached the second most challenging step, obtaining desert keys and collecting sand in Desert World. This requires a lot of shards, but luckily I had put the ores I got from goblin maps into drills, so I collected them and obtained the necessary shards. My order of collecting items in Desert Worlds is as follows: sand, coal, and then diamonds and chests. Of course, sand and coal are the main goal of the quest, but why not collect the others if I can make a profit? In total, I need to collect 100,000 plus coal and 200,000 plus sand. Maybe even more. I need to collect them quickly, otherwise I'll waste too much time. That's why I have Potion of Destructions. It helps me destroy things faster, and instead of finishing a world in 15 to 20 minutes, this potion allows me to finish one world in a total of 10 minutes. This is a very good time frame. But of course, since I'm farming coal, I'll also use Potion of Golden Touch, which will give me extra shards. Of course, it will be a bit expensive, but saving time is my #1 priority. The faster the better. After some time passed, I decided to create a world where I would place gates to desert worlds. This will allow me to move faster. Entering desert worlds one by one and collecting what's inside is starting to tire me out, but I haven't lost my motivation. I'll do anything to finally see that number of shards. I've completed over 120 desert keys in total. I know you want to know what I got from these desert keys, but that's a topic for another video. After completing 120 desert world keys, I obtained approximately 300,000 plus, or maybe even more sand. Next, I'm going to put these in the furnace to make glass blocks and then transform them into empty bottles. I'm very curious. How long will it take for all of this to happen? This makes me happy, because another challenging task is over. This is something that only requires time and isn't something that requires muscle or brain power. I can rest a little while doing these things. While all the sand was turning into glass blocks, I continued to increase my cauldrons. After all, making 100,000 eyeballs in a jar is no easy feat. But making more cauldrons would have been too expensive for me, so I decided to rent them. I think this was a good decision. After all, renting out 100 cauldrons for a total of 40 realm tokens makes more sense. So in total, I rented out 1,200 cauldrons, and I had over 300 myself. So I started with 1,500 cauldrons in total. On the one hand, I'm continuing to melt all the sand. Putting the sand into the furnitures was a bit of a hassle. Now I leave you with the sound of gathering these. Relaxing. Now that we've finished this stage, we can start making the empty bottles. I'm sure I've spent over 300 hours in total on almost all the grinding, including the frog leg grind. This is crazy. In total, I've made almost 300,000 empty bottles. If you calculate that at 170 realm tokens per 1,000, that's 51,000 realm tokens. Incredible. Now that this is finished, I can focus my attention on making eyeballs in jars. Using both rented and my own cauldrons, I quickly started making eyeball in jars every 20 minutes. At work, when I got home, and even while eating, one eye was on the game. The problem here was that I didn't have enough morals and glowing vines. So I sold my extra drills and some other items, and bought glowing vines and morals. I also sold some of my moral farms and gloving vine farms because farming them was getting too much for me. I'd also like to thank Tex for giving me his cauldrons. The farming update was just a few days away, but at this rate I wouldn't be able to produce 200,000 eyeballs in jars. So I reduced it to 100,000 because breaking them was taking a lot of time. And here we are at the moment, breaking 100,000 eyeball jars. I'm so excited and I've been waiting for this moment for so long. How do you feel? Don't forget to write in the comments. Although I'm a little disappointed that I didn't reach 200,000 here, I can say it was good for my motivation, because I was getting quite tired of collecting materials. All that hard work will now pay off. Let me start breaking it without further ado.
Get up. We want you to get on your feet. Stand up, stand up. Come on, get loose with the heat. Right now. Pick your body till you black out. So get the fuck up.
Breaking through a single row was causing half of my potions to go to waste, so I opted to progress by building rooms upwards. This way, I can use my potions more efficiently. I should have done this sooner, but seeing the shards in a single line gave me pleasure.
Get up, cause we gon' light up this place. We got that business for days. Tokyo GA from the outer space. So cover and dock, you're out of luck, we don't give up. Yeah, we're going up, next floor is us, you're riding with us. Get up, we want you to get on your feet. Stand up, stand up. Come on, get loose with the heat. Right now, we go party till we black out. So get the fuck up.
After mining about 70,000, world started lagging a lot, so I decided to collect the shards, otherwise I wouldn't be able to break anymore. After collecting them all, I now have a total of 1,130,000 shards. Seeing that excited me so much, it surpassed the 1 million shards from the previous Goblin series, and I still have about 50,000 eyeballs in jars, placed in the world and including those in my inventory.
Get up. We want you to get on your feet. Stand up, stand up. Come on, get loose with the heat.
Oh my god, 2,091,000 shards. Finally. So here we are after all that grinding. I put a lot of effort into this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more, please like the video and subscribe. See you soon.